Paul Zell, and Tommy Morrissey on the whistle tonight. Efton Reed and P.J. Hall get us started. The Tigers in orange control it first. It's a two-phase game tonight, Eric, as you said. Perimeter and the front court for really both schools. And the matchups kind of within the starting five or the five on the floor at the time.
Yeah, when you look at Clemson, they're definitely going to look to go inside to Hall and Shefflin and try to get that going on early on. Now it's up to Wake Forest to be able to contain that and keep their bigs out of foul trouble as they go through the game.
And an offensive foul. Nope, shot clock. We got a shot clock malfunction as Hall controlled it. 17 to shoot, and the bottom line is the game clock has only 14 seconds elapsed. The shot clock has 13 seconds elapsed. And remember, both started on the tip. So we've already got a little mathematical issue of a second here in Winston-Salem. 14 seconds off the game clock, 13 seconds off the shot clock. So Tommy Morrissey, Paul Zell will go over. Haven't seen him go to the stopwatch yet. That's when you know you got three-level deal.
Old school, old school.
It's a two-phase game tonight, Eric, as you said. So see the shot clock. And there it is, trailing the number right there. Yep, so they will probably have to do a little work here.
Well, you know, Wes, sometimes it just doesn't go how you plan. You think you have everything figured out in the beginning, and then.
Yep. So they're going to go back, and this is where the technology helps a little bit. You can find out exactly where the clock stopped and then measure how much came off while it was stopped.
Wes, I'm not the best with technology. I guess I'm a younger guy, 36, but I like to think, I like to write stuff down on the notepad still. Going through my notes in the iPhone, I don't know, I guess I'm an old soul.
It is interesting because an early stop here kind of quelches a couple things here. One, Wake Forest wanted to get a good start here. In fact, both schools talked about the start with us today.
Yeah, I mean, Coach Brownell and Coach Forrest talked about the first 5 minutes and how crucial that would be for both teams. Just getting off to a quick start, getting that confidence going for both teams is super important.
So while Tommy Morrissey and Paul Zell talk it over, Roger Ayers now going to join Steve Forbes' team. And let's see what we came up with here. They're going to put 3 on the shot clock. What are we doing here? They're going to play from okay, the game clock's at 19:33, which means there's 3 to shoot.
And Wes, in both shoot-arounds, these teams have been going over the out-of-bounds plays for both teams quite often, so they know what each other want to do.
Here's Jack Clark, lost a handle on it. It'll be a turnover on the opening possession. Outlet for Miller. Look at Clark catch up. He'll knock it over the end line. It'll stay with Wake Forest. So the Deacons, of course, 15-1 at home, 8-1 in ACC play. Baseline for Miller, and this is Hildreth. And you see Efton Reed and Andrew Carr and Hunter Sallis, who is probably destined for first-team All-ACC first of next week. 13 to shoot, Miller. Looked at Reed. Out front, here's Gerard against Hildreth. Now Sallis against Hunter. Pull-up jumper from the right. Carr the rebound against Shefflin. Right back up, strong, and score.
And you know what, Wes? That's something right there that it's a positive for Wake Forest, knowing that they're competing against 2 of the best bigs in the country, 2 of the best tandem bigs in the country in Shefflin and Hall. Being able to get off a quick start down low. You see Carr with the offensive board and put back.
And a 2-ball from out on the left ties the ball game off the hand of Chase Hunter. You see the Clemson lineup. Jack Clark back in there for a second straight game. He missed last Saturday at Notre Dame.
You see Wake right now trying to get it down low. And then we talked about these matchups, Hall and Reed and Shefflin and Carr.
Sallis a 3-ball. Got it. Hunter Sallis is 67th 3 of the year. He's 41%.
Started with Reed right there, being patient, waiting for the double team, kicking it out, and you saw the extra pass by Miller to Sallis. Sallis knocking it down.
Shefflin trying to get position with Reed inside as the Tigers move it around the perimeter. 10 to shoot for Hunter here. And this is Hall with Carr on it.
He's comfortable catching out that far, too.
PJ off the glass. 8th best field goal shooter in the ACC, averaging almost 18 against the league, is PJ Hall. Carr, Reed, Hall follows him. 10 to shoot for the Deacs here. Back to Sallis with 5 to shoot. There's a double team. They dig around for it. Hall's got the turnover.
Just a bad possession. Playing too slow. They need to be able to pick up the pace a little bit on that side of the ball.
Here's Reed, or Hall rather, as he works to Hunter. PJ a 3, first one of the night. Side rim miss, and Hildreth and Wake now will look to run here.
We talked about PJ, shooting the threes, an improved three-point shooter, but, his bread and butter is down low. That's his strength. I don't know if Coach Brownell wants him to shoot too much more of those threes.
Double team kick out for Sallis. He will fire again and hit. 6 for Sallis.
He's the man. He's the man for Wake Forest. As Wake Forest goes, he's the leader. He's averaging almost 19 a game. He's first team All-ACC, NBA prospect, getting off to a quick start here.
Deacs have doubled the number on the Tigers. They've hit their last 3 from the floor, including a pair of threes from Sallis. Here's Hall against Carr with 9 to shoot. Right-hand jump hook. Fell off the rim for Reed. Miller drives the engine for the Deacons.
Yeah, this is the pace. Miller has to be able to push it, get up and down, try to get early offense.
And a travel by Book and Miller will turn it over for Wake Forest. Well, Steve Forbes' team, Eric, it's a tale of where you play. When Wake is at home, they are unbelievable statistically. The road, it's a different story.
You know what? And I don't have the explanation for, the drop-off in the stats like that, but I know being at home is a little bit more comfortable, Wes, and on the road, obviously, you're going against the Wake crowd, but to be able to win games in the NCAA tournament, in the conference tournament, obviously you have to win on the road, you have to win away.
Girard in traffic took the contact, scores his first bucket. Joseph Girard, the third, tonight in his 156th collegiate game.
And, I love Joe. I may be biased because he's a Cuse guy, or now a Clemson guy, but a former Cuse guy. He's improved his game so much over the years. He came in as just a shooter, and now you see him be able to put the ball in the deck, play make, and finish at the rim.
Clark the rebound off the miss from Miller. Here is Girard, 3-ball out front. Back rim, high, and it dropped down. Joe used a lot of metal.
You cannot trail that type of a shooter off the DHO. You got to be able to try to stick on his hip and get over that. See Joe take advantage of it, one of the best shooters in the country.
Tigers in front of point on Girard's 3. Here's Miller, the answer. Kevin Miller, better known as Boopy, is on the board.
I like Boopy. I like that nickname, and we talked about it in the pregame, Wes. Miller and Sallis have to have big games if Wake Forest expects to win right here at home tonight and keep their NCAA tournament hopes alive.
Hall, a hard dribble against Reed to the basket. Shefflin inside, cleaning up and scoring. First basket for Ian Shefflin. Kind of what he does best there, Eric.
Doing what he does best, a bowling ball. Averaging almost 10 and 10 in conference play. He's a candidate for the most improved player of the year, no doubt.
Pretty fun ball game early, huh?
Absolutely.
Sallis, head of the circle. That's a handful for Chase Hunter. Sallis rolls it in. He's got 8 of Wake's 12 now here in the early stages.
And Wes, I think for Wake wants to play a more fast-paced game, get up, get early bucket, get early transition, early offense. And I don't think Clemson really minds playing in the half court, grinding it out with the 2 bigs down low.
Double screen, Hunter will try a 3. Missed badly, Hildreth the rebound. 6 minutes in, Wake Forest with the 1-point lead. Hildreth spinning through, he'll lay it in. Cam Hildreth's first points. Junior from Worthing in West Sussex of England pushes the Deacon lead to 3.
Great push. We talked about him in shoot-around Hildreth. He's kind of the heart and soul of this Wake Forest team. Just gritty, he's getting on the floor, all energy and effort. A guy that every team needs.
And a whistle and a foul off the ball. And that'll get us to a timeout. Hunter Sallis has got 8 of Wake Forest's first 14 points. He's down 3 already twice. Meanwhile, Joe Girard's got a triple. And he bought all of the rim. Just like Devo. Back to Winston in a moment.
Early and often, going 3 for 4 from the field, 2 for 2 from the three-point line. I mean, he's a first-team All-ACC, All-American type player. I mean, that's why the NBA is considering him a first-round draft pick. Hunter Sallis.
You know, he comes in here from Omaha, started his career obviously at Gonzaga. He is 3rd in the ACC in minutes played in conference games too, Eric. It's not like he didn't come off the floor. Averages better than 35 minutes a game.
You know what? He's not a big guy either. I mean, it takes a toll on somebody to be able to play that many minutes throughout the year, and he's doing a heck of a job just going out there competing and obviously doing it at a high level.
Marsh has come in to defend Shefflin, and the tap followed by Chauncey Wiggins. Wiggins stuck a hand in traffic and tapped home the miss. 7 minutes in, we got a 1-point ball game.
This is an interesting matchup right here with Wiggins guarding Sallis. I'm going right to Sallis right now. He has to be aggressive and go get the ball.
Chauncey Wiggins is 6'11". Here's Carr against Wiggins. That's a tough matchup. 5 to shoot for Carr, a double team. Sallis thought about it. He'll launch on Shefflin and miss everything. Air ball by Sallis. What'd you like there defensively from Clemson? They communicated pretty well.
They did a good job communicating, but I think it was a bad shot by Sallis. He should have went earlier in the shot clock, and when he saw that mismatch with Wiggins, you got to be able to attack off the dribble and get into the paint. Once you get those paint touches, you're able to create for yourself and others.
Godfrey on the floor along with Wiggins. Brad Brownell dipping into his bench. Hunter back for R.J. Godfrey. Chase Hunter will launch from 3. And Hildreth the rebound for the Deeks.
How about the stat they gave us on Chase Hunter before the game? When Chase Hunter hits 2 or more threes, Clemson is 9-1. He's 0 for 2 right now.
Fredrickson on the floor, young man from Oklahoma in his rookie campaign for Steve Forbes Deeks. Here's Carr. No hesitation, missed everything. Girard the rebound of the air ball. Reroute on the screen, nice pass for Shefflin. Godfrey. Hunter, or Wiggins rather.
Not at all. You got to get more. You got to get better spacing. I like what Hunter did on the short roll, but then Wiggins went in too close. Created bad spacing on.
Hildreth for 3. Deacons are making you pay here early. 4-point lead on Cam Hildreth's second field goal equals their largest advantage. Shefflin tries to answer and does.
And we've seen him do it in shoot around. He can hit it. And if, you know, Coach Brownell sees him hitting, he's going to let him hit another one. If he misses, he's probably going to tell him to sit down and get back down low under the rim. Great shot.
He's 19 of 35 this year from 3, Eric.
You know what? If the first one goes in, you get to shoot a second one.
Hildreth back for Carr.
Great defense.
And they'll roll to the deck. He'll save it. Fredrickson, Sallis, another 3. Sure. Hunter Sallis now. He's got 11. That's his 3rd 3 of this first half. Girard to answer. Cannot.
Got to look to push it here.
Deeks by 4. Hildreth. Lob. Marsh had it taken out of the air. Shefflin the deflection. Clemson the recovery.
This is where Wake Forest has to look for Sallis.
Hunter thought he got fouled, no whistle. Deacons the other way with the Tiger turnover. Hildreth, skip for Fredrickson. Step away. Marsh battling inside, lost it. Godfrey took it from him.
Now we're picking up a little bit. Love the pace. Both teams starting to pick up the pace, just really getting into the flow of the game. Josh
Beadle waits at the table for Clemson. We'll have a timeout before Beadle sees the floor. Shefflin on the dribble. Here's Girard. Godfrey fought about it. He'll take Carr on the dribble. Got stripped of it. Off another Clemson turnover. That's 4 on the Tigers. 7 total in the ball game. Hildreth standing 3.
See, I just don't like it, Wes. I think after Hunter Sallis just hit 3 shots in a row, you got to be able to find the best player on the team who has the hot hand. You got to look for him. Your teammates have to be aware of that. And he has to be able to tell them that.
Wiggins, Gerard cutting through. Soft 2 jumper. And they scramble inside, and Carr saved it to Fredrickson. Clemson's only made 1 field goal in the last 4 minutes. They trail by 4. Here's Hildreth again. Double team coming.
Somebody had to cut off that double.
Over the top of Shefflin. Cam Hildreth is fun to watch.
You know what? When we were talking about in shoot around, we talked about the grit, the heart, the energy and effort, but he is an improved offensive player. Going to the basket, shooting the ball. He's showing a little bit of everything right now.
Deeks by 6. Gerard a 3. Rattles out for Sallis.
Hildreth got lucky on that one.
6-point lead. Now Hildreth the launch. Missed everything. Shefflin the rebound. Wake's hit some 3s. 4 of them, but they got 3 air balls in 9 attempts too.
I don't like how they're going away from Sallis after he just scored the first 11 points of the game, knocking down 3 threes.
Another standing 3 from Shefflin. Slapped out by Godfrey. Gerard from in the F in Wake Forest, and that'll be a foul on the Tigers. That'll get us to a timeout. Ian Shefflin's first on Clemson. Hunter Sallis continues the beat though. He's got 11, including 3 threes. And now Cam Hildreth has stepped in. He's got 7. That's 18 of Wake's 22 in Winston. Who a year ago against Wake Forest in 2 ball games, 21.5 points, 8.5 rebounds, 52% from the floor. And of course, he averaged 18 and 7 a year ago against the league. And here today, PJ's only got a basket to his credit so far on 4 attempts. Out of the timeout, Miller, Reed, Zach Keller playing tonight, and a turnover by Wake Forest. Here is Wiggins on Miller turnaround.
I mean, that's not a shot you take against a guy who's 6 foot. You're 6'11" against a 6 foot guy. You back him down, you wait for the double to come, you look for the open guy, or you finish at the rim.
Meanwhile, here's Sallis on Beetle. Kicks it for Keller out of the corner. Gerard the long rebound. Zach Keller, by the way, just 7 of 23 now from 3, Eric, off the miss there. Clemson started 7 of 13. They missed their last 6. Wiggins almost turned it over. Fredrickson got the turnover, but landed on the baseline. So we still hold at 22-16. 7:02 to go first half in Winston. Forest against Clemson. Great to be with Eric Devendorf, Wes Durham at Joel Coliseum. Kind of the game within the game is front court and back court. Clemson's only got 9 points out of their front court. Now P.J. Hall spent a couple minutes on the bench. Wake's got 20 from the back court, Eric.
Yeah, well, we talked about it in the beginning. Can Clemson's guards contain Wake's guards from getting penetration and paint touches? And then the strength of Clemson's team is their front court. You know, with Hall and Shefflin, and right now they've been a non-factor.
P.J. Hall back on the floor, has not scored more than 10 minutes. He had an early field goal. Here's Wiggins. He plays with Beetle, Godfrey, and Gerard. And there goes Godfrey up strong around Keller for the basket. R.J. Godfrey, the sophomore from South Gwinnett High School, north of Atlanta in Sewanee, Georgia. Averages just under 5 in ACC play.
Sallis has to look to be more aggressive in getting in the lane and creating opportunities for him and his teammates.
Here's Miller digging in on Beetle. Fall away. Bounces out. Hall with a strong box out on Reed. Allowed Godfrey to keep it alive in the Clemson possession. PJ 3 from the front. And the tap follow. Godfrey and the foul. How about R.J. Godfrey a couple of baskets here?
You come in and you get an opportunity. You got to be able to take advantage of the opportunity that you're given. That's how you go from 4 minutes to 7 minutes, from 7 minutes to 10 minutes. And I know P.J. Hall has improved his three-point shooting, Wes. But the strength of this team, like we talked about, is going down low to those 2 guys and then playing from inside out.
Efton Reed's second foul comes with 6:13 to play in the first half, and Godfrey only 55% at the free throw line, has 5 off of Brad Brownell's bench. That's one thing we didn't talk about today, was bench scoring for Clemson.
And if, you know, P.J. Hall and Shefflin aren't going to get the opportunities like they are early on, they need guys like Godfrey to be able to step up and make an impact off the bench.
Tigers have got 7 off the bench. A 3 by Sallis, bounds away. Gerard inside. He's going to be fouled by Zach Keller, I believe. And it is on Keller, the 6'10 sophomore from Highlands Ranch, Colorado. It's his first. It's the third on the Deacons. Here comes Jack Clark back. Chase Hunter returns. Clemson makes some substitutions here. Boopy Miller with Carr, Sallis, Hildreth, and Keller on the floor. Remember, Reed's got the 2 now. I don't know how much we'll see of Efton Reed before the half.
See Wake bringing a little full court pressure right here, trying to pick up the pace.
Quick inbounds, and look at Beadle rush it into the front court. Josh got all the way to the baseline, stepped out of bounds.
And Wes, that's what the pressure does right there. It makes you play fast. It makes you make quick decisions. And I don't necessarily think Coach Brownell, you know, wants Beadle making a majority of the decisions for the Clemson offense. 5
turnovers on the Tigers. 9 total in this first half. 1 point lead for Wake in the basketball. Miller.
2 side to side for Wake. They have to be able to get in the gaps.
Hildreth lost it on the drive. Here is Hunter. Lob. Catch and dunk from Clark. Jack Clark hammers it home, and Clemson takes the lead on a 7-0 run.
Hello, Jack Clark. And those are the type of plays that you need, especially on the road.
Sallis digs in. Pull-up jumper. Good. Hunter Sallis has got 13 now in this first half on his 5th field goal.
For a guy like Hunter Sallis, a guy that could use his dribble drive to be able to get by, put pressure on the defender. Then when you do that, now they sag off and your jump shots open up.
Carr and Hall battling at the block. Here's Hunter at the head of the circle. PJ calling for it against Carr. 10 to shoot. Double team. Kick for Clark. 3 away. Got it. 5 in a row for Jack Clark. His 12th 3 of the year.
He's not necessarily known as a three-point shooter, Wes, but this is Division I college basketball. If you're open, shoot the basketball.
13 of 43 on the year is Clark. 2 for 2 from 3. And there is a foul. And it's going to be on R.J. Godfrey.
See Hall passing it out of the double team. And, you know, I think Hall is an underrated passer. You know, Shefflin and Hall are 2 of the best passing big men in the ACC, and Hall showing you why right there.
Godfrey checks out. Shefflin comes back. 4.5 to go. Tigers with a 2-point lead.
Have to be aggressive on this matchup.
Here's Sallis. He'll take Shefflin on the drive. Kicks for Carr's 3. Wait back in front. Andrew Carr's 33rd 3 of the year. He's got 5 here in the first half.
That's one thing that Carr can do. He can stretch that defense, bring it out to the 3-point line, and creates better spacing for that Wake offense.
Hunter tries to answer. Spins out one from the right. Under 4 to go. Terrific first half. Here's Hildreth for Carr.
More movement offensively, too stagnant.
Miller, and then thrown away to Clark. Bounces ahead. Here's Beadle. Back for Clark. And a hammer with a right hand for Jack Clark.
Jack Clark came in the game and just made his presence felt on both ends automatically. Defensively, offensively, you see him getting 2 dunks. Jack Clark is here and he's ready to play.
7 for Clark. He had 7 the other night against Syracuse at Littlejohn. Tigers again by a point. Hildreth the scoop. Tap follow Marsh. Good, and the foul. They're going to score the basket. Parker. And pretty nice start for Jack Clark here today, huh?
Yeah, you know, we were talking about during break, Wes. It's just good to see him healthy. Really having an injury-riddled career. You see when he's healthy, he makes an impact. The 2 dunks, and he's a monster on the defensive side of the ball.
By the way, Matthew Marsh fouled by Chase Hunter. They scored the basket, and then the free throw from Marsh. Just his 3rd free throw conversion in 5 tries, and Wake in front by 2. So a old school 3-point play, if you will, from Marsh.
I like this right here by Wake. I think their guards need to push up and put a little bit more pressure on those Clemson guards.
Here's Gerard against Hildreth. Look for the quick look. Couldn't feed Hall.
Great job by Carr denying that.
Here's Joe. Wrap around. Back for Clark. He'll slash. Got caught in the air. How about a kick for Hall? Bounds away. They scramble inside. And Hildreth wraps it up. And Clark will be whistled for the foul. First on Jack Clark. 4 now on the Tigers. This is a heck of a ball game, Eric.
I'll tell you what, that last possession defensively for Wake Forest, just active. In it, they're engaged, they're communicating. I mean, you expect that being at home. They're playing for their NCAA Tournament lives right now, Wes.
That's a fact. 5 of their last 7 have been losses. Here's Carr with Clark defending. Back for Sallis, 10 to shoot. Against Shefflin. Partially bothered. Nice defensive presence from Ian Shefflin. Still a 2-point Wake lead. There's Sheff inside and held ball. Going to send it to Wake Forest on possession. Hildreth, I think, is the guy that had his hand on top of the ball here, Eric.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, yeah, as you see right here, I mean, we talked about Hildreth. He's a guy who's just going to bring it on that end all the time, doing a great job tying up Shefflin right there. But Clemson offensively, we talked about their bread and butter, Wes. Being able to get it down low to their 2 bigs. And right now, for most of this first half, we've just been seeing these guys taking perimeter jump shots. They got to get back to feeding those guys down low, and they got to do a better job of getting position so their guards will have the opportunity to get it to them.
Marsh inside for the dunk.
Big fella.
Oh, my goodness.
I don't know if we were going to hear about Marsh a lot today, but he's came in and had a couple big-time dunks.
Played 9 minutes the other night against Georgia Tech. He's got 5 in this first half. Averages only a point and a half in ACC play. Clemson looking for a bucket. Hall a 3. Back rim miss. Sallis the rebound. 4-point lead. PJ's missed his last 6 shots after hitting his first from the floor this afternoon.
You said Brownell, he's going to let him shoot him, but I think right now it's time to go tell him to get back on that block.
17 to shoot. Ball got knocked out of bounds. It's going to stay with Wake.
You see Marsh right here. Good job setting the screen. Short roll. No help. Bang it on his head. P.J. Hall giving him a taste of his own medicine.
Did he hesitate to read Beadle?
You know what? He caught it right there on the short roll. He did a good job of just being able to hesitate, and then Beadle went away, finish it at the rim.
Junior at 7'1" from Cornwall in southwest England. 5 off of Forbes' bench.
A couple guys from England out here, huh?
Yep. Here's Fredrickson now. He'll gun for 3. Rebound Shefflin.
You got to look for P.J. Hall right here.
Clemson's gone 2.5 minutes without a point. Minute to go in a half.
Clemson has to get into a pick and roll situation with Hall or Shefflin. Get on that short roll. At least let him catch it on the elbow. Great right there.
Hall missed it. Now 7 misses in a row for P.J. Hall. 1 for 8 in his first half.
It's a bad pass right there.
Deeks turn it over. 38 seconds left. Got about a 10-11 second differential shot clock to game clock. Gerard pull up 3. It bounds away. Marsh the rebound. Tigers are ice cold going down the stretch here. Sallis, Euro to the basket. What a half for Sallis. 15 now in the first half. 7-0 run gives Wake a 6-point lead. And the use it or lose it 30 for Brad Brownell and Winston-Salem. Back in 30 seconds. Phil Berry and Luke Hancock there. Already winning today, Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech already a winner today. Florida State a winner. And the Auto Owners Insurance halftime report is next from Cameron. Final possession of the half belongs to the Tigers.
Start off going to the pick and roll into the DHO.
Gerard working on Hildreth. Bounces for Hunter. Shot fake at the horn for 3. Bounds away. And the Deacons are going to carry a 6-point lead to the locker room, Eric. terrific half. So the Tigers, maybe in some ways fortunate to only be down 6.
Well, absolutely. I think Clemson was just coasting a little bit in that first half. Now it's time to pick it up in that second half and really show, you know, these guys what type of team they are.
Chase Hunter, 2 points. P.J. Hall, 2 points. Joe Girard, 5. That's 9. And a turnover by Clemson. And a foul coming through the backcourt will be on Chase Hunter. Or Shefflin, beg your pardon. 4. It'll be his second. It is the first on the Tigers.
Yeah, not the start that Clemson wanted. I just think PJ right now, if I'm switching Shefflin, I'm putting Shefflin up high at that top of the key and then putting PJ at that high-low position, at the low position.
Here's Reed. Picked up on his dribble. Remember, he got saddled in the first half with fouls. After Reed only played 8 minutes. Miller on the drive, forced it up. They rattle around inside. We're going to have a foul on the deck. Roger airs the whistle. He works with Paul Zell and Tommy Morrissey tonight.
Wes, you talked about Reed, you know, not playing the majority of the first half. Even though Miller missed the shot right there, Reed created that shot just by getting that seal right there and let Miller get into that open layup. Has to be able to finish that.
Here's Miller against Hunter. Right back for Boopy, off the Reed screen. Skip for Hildreth. Boy, nice crisp ball movement by the Deacons, and Reed missed the 3. Still a 6-point game. We're almost a minute into half 2 at Winston. Girard, Hunter, Clark, whoa. Almost airmail one to Girard. 12 to shoot, Joe from the logo. Front rim miss, Tigers now 3 of 17 from 3.
And they're all tough shots, Wes. You haven't seen a clean, easy look.
Reed going to work on Hall. And that'll be an offensive foul on Efton Reed. That's his 3rd. Crowd won't like it. 3rd on Reed, 1st on the Deeks in the half. Hall and Reed, pretty good collisions here.
Yeah, you see the 2 big guys battling.
P.J. Hall trying to work on Andrew Carr at the offensive end, and then he and Reed banging away. Another guy ticketed for the first team All-ACC is P.J. Hall. Voting closes tomorrow afternoon. And that's going to be on Marsh, who's come back in the game. Well, Clemson looked like they were trying to dial something inside. First on Marsh.
And you can't put all the blame on the guards right now. The bigs got to do a better job of getting position sealing so the guards have the opportunity to get that pass in there. There it is right there.
Shefflin against Marsh. Can't finish. Carr the rebound on the backside.
They got the look that they wanted, just have to finish.
Almost 2 minutes gone, second half. Sallis fights through. Lob and the slam from Marsh.
Well, what a look from Sallis. Getting in, splitting the defenders, getting the paint touch, lobbing it up to Marsh. And we talked about Marsh getting his opportunity. He's taking advantage of it.
Boy, sure is. Matthew Marsh has got 7 now in the ball game. Inside, here's Hall the catch. Up strong, and he'll draw the foul. Marsh has equaled his season high. He had 7 against Pitt.
See Sallis right here splitting the D, getting into the teeth of the paint. Great lob, great look for Marsh. And you know what? You're not going to play a lot during the season. He knows that. He gets in, he's getting the opportunity, and he's playing his butt off.
P.J. Hall will get a couple of free throws. 79% at the line this year. Clemson is the #2 free throw shooting team in ACC play at 80.9. Hall with his 3rd point. Eric, the #1 free throw shooting team in ACC play is Wake Forest.
Wake Forest, yeah. You don't want to follow these 2 teams. And I think for P.J. Hall right here, it's good just to see the ball go through the basket, get to the free throw line, see a couple go through. You'll get your confidence back going.
1 of 2 at the line for Hall. Tigers still trail 7. Here goes Miller. A blur to the other end.
I jinxed him, Wes. Sorry on that last free throw.
That's all right. You'll get the blame. Ball tapped away a pass from Marsh. 15 to shoot for the Deacons. Now Sallis. Clark with him. And there's a turnover. Girard with the loose ball. Gerard on the drive. Here's Hunter, now Clark, who had a flurry in the first half. Now back to Hall, up strong, can't go. And last touch by Marsh. It'll stay with Clemson and 15 to shoot.
Yeah, and even right there, good job on the roll. Catch it, and you know what? For me, he can even take one dribble right there or just hold it and see what's going on so he can get a better look, better opportunity at the rim. That was a tough shot.
Here's Hunter. All the way in traffic. Takes the contact. He'll get the foul in the basket.
You saw on the other end with Reed having a good seal for Boopy Miller. P.J. Hall doing the same thing for Chase Hunter, sealing it. See right here, sealing Carr. Great finish by Hunter, and that's what he does. That's what he excels at, getting to the bucket, finishing at the rim. Left hand finish, absorbing the contact. That's a tough finish, looking for the old-fashioned three-point play.
Some nights, it's a blue-collar game, right? This feels like one of those nights. Hunter knocks down the free throw.
And Wes, I tell you, when I used to play, I loved those blue-collar games. I was ready to dive on the floor.
I bet you did.
Get in somebody's face, talk a little bit of trash.
Yeah, you're not that far from Detroit. You like blue-collar. 4-point game after the three-point trip for Chase Hunter. He's got 5 in the ball game. Miller on the catch. Here's Carr with Shefflin defending and can't buy the field goal, but by Sheff's foul, which is his third. It's the third on Clemson in this second half, and the Tigers have got their first bit of foul trouble. And R.J. Godfrey's going to come in for Ian Shefflin as Andrew Carr goes to the line. Carr is 79%. He's the 5th best free throw shooter in the, or 15th best free throw shooter in the ACC. All 5 of his points in the first half. And the first one good. Don't forget, Tuesday we'll be at Capital One Arena in our nation's capital for the ACC tournament presented by T. Rowe Price. Dave O'Brien, Jay Billis open our coverage at 2 p.m. Eastern time. The Nothing But Net crew will be there. Corey Alexander and I there for games 2 and 3 on Tuesday at Capital One Arena. First time the league has been back there since 2015 when Joel Berry was the MVP of the tournament. Hunter on the drive, he'll draw the foul.
And that's what Chase Hunter needs to do. He was 0 for 4 from the three-point line in the first half. His bread and butter is getting into that paint, creating contact with that strong body, finishing at the rim, getting to the free throw line. That's what he really excels at.
First on Miller, 5th on Wake Forest, puts Hunter back to the stripe. Here's Hunter. We have not seen Chase's younger brother Dylan in this ball game today. Chase, redshirt senior from Atlanta. A year ago averaged 13 points against the conference, shot 27% from 3. His three-point number a little better this year by about 7%. He hit both free throws.
And here he comes.
And here's Dylan Hunter. Look at me. Writing the script.
Spoken into existence. They're from your town, ATO. That's your town.
They're Westlake guys.
Okay,
yep. Yeah. Their mom, a terrific player at Georgia in women's basketball. Their late father, Bryce Hunter, terrific wide receiver in the National Football League, starred for the Bulldogs as well.
How cool would that be to play college basketball with your brother?
Yep. And there's a foul off the ball. That's on R.J. Godfrey. His second, 4th on Clemson. Godfrey, by the way, his dad, Randall Godfrey, terrific linebacker at Georgia, was later a Pro Bowler with the Dallas Cowboys.
Godfrey looks like he could play on the Clemson football team right now.
Don't do that. Dabo, never know, man.
He was already talking about Shefflin being a tight end.
Here's Sallis in traffic and missed the shot. Rebound. Clark pulls it away. Dylan Hunter handles the rock. He'll go to the basket hard, draw the contact, miss the shot. Carr on an outlet. Here's Sallis with Godfrey chasing, and RJ will commit the foul. It'll be the 3rd on Godfrey, 5 on Clemson, and we're going to get free throws when we come back. Wake Forest, who led by 6 at the break, protecting a 4-point lead early. Second half, tough night for P.J. Hall, averaging nearly 19. He's got 3 tonight. He's 1 of 9 from the floor, but he's at the top of Wake's scouting report as he would be just about every night, right?
Yeah, I mean, you see right here, he did a good job contesting Hunter Sallis' shot. Does a good job running the floor. Wake Forest doing a good job getting back. But look at Andrew Carr right here, just getting his body into him and then getting off and contesting the shot at the rim. all while getting the outlet pass to Hunter Sallis. I mean, Wake has done a great job of just denying P.J. Hall the ball. I mean, you got to be able to get that position, but overall, Wake Forest has done a great job of denying P.J. Hall the basketball.
Sallis will be at the line. He's scoreless here in the second half. He's an 80% free throw shooter, and this is his first trip tonight. And free throw bounds away. So you said, hey, get P.J. Hall down on the block, get him some touches there. The way Wake's defending him, that's a tougher ask for Clemson tonight.
Yeah, but now you go into the cross screens, you go into the flash into the high post, because if you can't get it on the block right in there, I'm flashing to the elbow and now I'm working off the elbow. You want to try to get closer in than just working outside from the three-point line.
Now Miller defending Hunter. Hall has to pitch ahead. 5-point lead now for Wake Forest. Deacons trying for their 19th win. They would finish the ACC campaign 11-9. Clemson a win, they would get one of the double byes. Here's Hall working on Keller with the left hand and one.
And you know, I'm surprised right there that they just left him with Keller. You thought they would have brought that double in, but P.J. Hall taking advantage, seeing it. See Joe coming off the double stagger right there, and he's comfortable catching it that far out, using that big body, getting in and one. You can't leave him by himself. You can't leave Keller by himself with Hall.
Free throw good. Look at Marsh and Reed sitting there on Forbes' bench. This one's on Keller. Go ahead, Zach. Fight him on, right?
You know what? I mean, obviously that's not what Coach Forbes thought was going to happen. He'd have to play Zach Keller a lot of minutes.
Marsh has responded, though, appropriately. He's tied his season high tonight with 7. There's a foul on Wiggins.
Wes, we talked about guys, well, even for Clemson, you talk about Godfrey coming in and taking advantage of the opportunity. These guys are high-level basketball players as well. Obviously, they're not getting as much minutes as the starters, but when they come in, they want to be able to play well and make an impact.
6 fouls on Clemson. Next one sends both schools into the 1-and-1.
So he got away with a carry.
I believe you're right. Here's Miller, 10 to shoot, floater in the lane. Clark the rebound, quick outlet for Girard. He's got Hunter, but waits on Hall. Here's Clark firing. 3 ball for Jack Clark. He's got 10. That's his second 3 of the night.
Jack Clark, I'm not going to say anything about you shooting 3-pointers anymore. 2 for 2 tonight.
Yep. 13 of 43 on the year, but he's buried 2 from behind the line.
Sometimes it's just a confidence thing.
Tigers lead by 1 on the Clark 3.
You got to go ahead and take that drive, Miller. They need more from Miller in this half.
Here's Boopy. And did he throw it away? Almost. 2 to shoot. Sallis tees it up at the horn. And out of bounds to the Tigers. 6-0 run by Clemson. And here's Efton Reed back to replace Zach Keller. Now Reed's on the floor with the 3 fouls. So if you're Clemson here, are you trying to go get Efton Reed's 4?
I'm going right at Reed right away. And you know what's changed for Clemson in the second half? Just the ball pressure on Wake Forest guards. They're doing a good job of rushing them into shots, making them take tough shots.
Hildreth defends Girard. Here's Hall with Carr defending. PJ up strong, right hand.
And I don't know how, oh, he's letting them know, okay.
P.J. Hall the basket, timeout Steve Forbes. 8-0 run by the Tigers to take a 3-point lead. P.J. Hall might have been a slow scoring first, not the case here in half 2. And P.J. Hall gets it.
Look at the footwork right there. And then look, talk to him a little bit after the play. You got to have that competitive edge if you want to play this game of basketball. And P.J. Hall is bringing it.
Wake's got 5, P.J. Hall's got 6 here in the second half. Hildreth off a Reed screen. Floater for Big Efton. Reed and the dunk. Wow, with Chase Hunter contesting, Efton Reed sets it down. His first basket of the night is a highlight.
See right here, good job with the rub. Just go up and get it, big fella. Chase Hunter, I don't know why you are contesting that right there. Just let it go. That's a 7-footer right there. You're not blocking the shot.
Reed to the line, 87% on the year. Just his 46th free throw attempt of the season. He's got 3, and we're tied at 42.
Wes, if I'm Clemson, I'm going right back to that guy, number 24. Right there.
Wiggins, 3 at the front. Off the glass. Go ahead, Devo. Tell him.
I was speechless for a second, but I mean, the bank is over. We were watching him shoot around, and it's funny because he can shoot the ball. He just has an awkward form, but it goes in. And hey, if you're knocking it down, go ahead, shoot it, big fella.
No matter how you describe it, it's still 3 points. It's Clemson in front.
That's it.
Sallis caught in the double team. Carr with a one-hand save. Boy, nice catch at 2 ends. Hildreth with 2 to shoot over Wiggins. Air ball. And it will belong to the Tigers.
Yeah, Clemson is just doing a good job of getting them out of their stuff. Yeah, you know what? Sometimes the game of basketball is a game of luck. And I'm not saying it was lucky because I know he can shoot the ball, but he didn't mean to bank that in, Wes.
Nope. 7 minutes in.
Travel.
Here's Hall. Double team coming. Skip for Hunter. Clark. Gerard's been quiet. Not now. There's the scoop and the score.
A good finish by Joe Gerard. Chase Hunter needs to make a better pass to Clark on that. If he just made a solid pass to him, he has a wide open 3.
Largest lead of the night for Clemson at 5. Wake just 2 of 8 from the floor here in the second half. Clemson is 6 for 10. From 6 down to 5 up in 7.5 minutes of action for the Tigers. Carr against Wiggins. Shot clock at 3. Fall away, drops in for Andrew Carr.
That's a tough shot by Carr, and I think that's next for Andrew Carr. Physically developing a little bit more, maybe gaining 5 to 10 pounds, just so he can be able to take those beatings down low and be able to play through the contact.
He's got 9. Wake to within 3 again. Here's Hunter. He'll flash. Foul line jumper. No good, and a foul will be called. And I believe it is on. It's going to be on Hunter Sallis. Cameron Hildreth is shaken up. We got free throws when we come back. Sallis' first foul. It's Clemson 47-44 as we bring you back to Joel Coliseum with Eric Devendorf, West Durham. So here are the stakes tonight. Clemson wins. They get a double bye. Meanwhile, Wake Forest at 5:30 this afternoon. Joe Lunardi had Wake off the bubble. And then about an hour and a half later, he's moved Wake to next 4 out, Eric. Precincts reporting. Electoral College in action tonight. Are they playing somebody that affects Wake Forest? Lunardi very busy. Like the first Tuesday in November for Lunardi tonight. Here's 2 shots for Chase Hunter. He's now got 4. The foul, by the way, on Sallis. Steve Forbes a little chapped, to say the least, going to the timeout, but it was a good call.
It was a good call. It was a foul. Hit him right on the forearm.
Yep. So here's Hunter. Second free throw good. Lead is 5 for the Tigers. 8 minutes gone in this second half.
And this right here where Sallis needs to insert himself back in the game. You see Clemson taking advantage, going on their own little run. Sallis has to be aggressive and be more assertive.
Carr working against Wiggins. Skip for Hildreth. He'll launch. And we're going to get a foul on P.J. Hall against Efton Reed. So Reed's going to get a couple of free throws on the second against the senior from Spartanburg, South Carolina, and the 8th on the Tigers. And Efton Reed III, who in some ways personifies today's college basketball players, started his career at LSU, then he went to Gonzaga, and now he's at Wake Forest, Eric.
And you know, earlier in the season when he was out, I mean, you could tell the difference with this Wake team. Now bringing him back, I mean, it's a totally different Wake Forest team with him being in the middle, just being a presence, an offensive threat.
Ruled eligible on December 6th when Court of Appeals deemed that the 2-time transfers were immediately eligible, and as you mentioned, he has made a heck of a difference. 49-46. Both teams in the bonus with 11.5 to go. 168th meeting all time between these two, and a travel on Wiggins as he was trying to set up Clark.
And you know what, Rod, I thought Rod was going to call the first one, but he got the second one. It might have been a makeup for the first call.
Just the second turnover for Clemson in the second half. 7 in the ball game. Fredrickson on the lob for Reed. Oh, what a save and a skip. Second pass for Carr. Fall away. Rolls in. Andrew Carr with 6.5, 11 in the ball game. He and Sallis doing the work for Wake. Deeks to within 1, and the crowd at the Joel to their feet.
This is what we came to see right here with the crowd getting into it.
Hall takes Carr to the basket. Layup. Good, and the foul. P.J. Hall answers the Wake call.
You see Andrew Carr hitting his second mid-range jump shot in that paint, doing a good job creating the contact. And then P.J. Hall. This is my second half. P.J. Hall, as he looks over at the Clemson bench after getting the and one. P.J. Hall, look at, he is a monster. Those shoulders.
Free throw good. So Hall's got another free throw. Tigers are 6 for their last 6. 9.5 for Hall. There's a foul on Clark. That'll be his second out on the perimeter. That's 9 now on the Tigers. We're going to be here a while shooting free throws tonight. You see the Clemson second half. The Tigers 7 of 11 from the floor. Wake just 4 of 11, but Hunter Sallis has but a single point. He's got 16 on the night for Forbes.
And this is where it starts right here for Sallis. Just being able to get to the free throw line, get it back going through the rim, see it go through. And I think for Sallis, he's not the biggest vocal guy out there, but I think for him, when his teams aren't scoring and they're going in droughts, you have to be more vocal with your teammates and getting the ball and being aggressive and getting the ball, getting to the basket and being able to make plays for your teammates, especially if you go 2, 3, 4 possessions with not getting a score.
Carr out, Keller in, Sallis to the both. We're going to see Efton Reed and Zach Keller here together now. 2-point lead for Clemson.
Dive right to the basket. Good.
Gerard off a Hall screen, and P.J. Hall is going to be called for the foul here. Offensive foul, Hildreth. It'll be the third on Hall, all here in the second half. That's 10.
I mean, I don't know, Wes, what do you think? He moved into it a little bit, but that's a no call for me.
10:22 to go. Third on Hall, who's sometimes maybe not as disciplined as you need him to be, Eric.
Well, you need
with fouls in relationship to the fouls.
Yeah, well, you need him on the floor if you're Clemson. So you got to be able to stay away from those ticky-tack fouls.
So he plays with 3. Reed on the floor with 3 for Wake Forest.
See Clemson going to a little zone.
Shefflin's been quiet. He's over on the bench. There's a 3 from Fredrickson to put Wake back in front.
And probably the best three-point shooter besides Sallis on the team. And right when Clemson goes to zone, they take advantage of it.
9-3 run. Parker Fredrickson. And our 12th lead change of the night. We step aside in Winston-Salem. 1-point lead for Wake Forest. 9:51 to play. Deacons have been pretty crisp at times tonight offensively.
Yeah, you see right here, Clemson goes to the zone. With Fredrickson coming in the game, I don't know if that's the best idea. A good ball movement. Find Fredrickson on the wing, and he knocks it down. And that's one guy that you have to locate if you're Clemson. One of the best shooters on the floor.
So Keller went off the floor. Carr came back in. Fredrickson knocks down the 3. His first points of the ball game on his 49th 3 of the year. And now all of a sudden Wake back in front. Hall. Here's Clark.
See Joe.
And we get Joe Girard is cramped up after Clark turns it over. And Girard's going to come out of the ball game. And that'll bring Beadle back on the floor.
You hope that's all it is, too, is just a cramp, and he didn't.
Yep. So Girard will be tended to at the Clemson bench. Meanwhile, after the turnover by the Tigers, here's Sallis and Wake Forest, a chance to extend the 1-point lead. Reed lost it, shovels it out. Fredrickson. Back for Reed, a three, short. How about Efton Reed? All 8 of his points in the second half. That's his 7th three of the year, Eric.
And I tell you what, he doesn't shoot a lot of them, but he's capable. We talked about it earlier. These guys are Division I basketball players, and they're capable of knocking down these shots.
12-3 run by Wake. It's 8-0 in the last 77 seconds. Hunter thought about it. 10 to shoot. Chase trying to deliver to Hall. Does. PJ with the right hand scores.
Just keep going to your bread and butter. Hunter, I know you can hit it. You're capable. But get into that lane. Draw the defense. Find your big who's been dominating the whole second half. PJ Hall doing what he does best. 11 in the second half for Hall, who's got 13 in the ball game. Fredrickson. Meanwhile, Hall goes down. Reed will catch and score. And PJ Hall landed squarely on his back and is still down. Reed, by the way, gets the dunk. 5 in a row for Wake Forest off the hand of Efton Reed. Wes, I know PJ Hall is a big, strong guy, but you see right here, see. Yeah, it didn't look like much right there. I mean, that just goes to show you how big and strong Reed is down there. Those are 2 big guys just going at it, just competing hard.
When 2 guys collide like that, they usually got helmet and pads on.
Yeah, 2 Mack trucks right there.
Yep. 4-point lead for Wake. Hunter for 3. Oh, Chase Hunter with a triple.
He told me to be quiet.
Yeah.
Devo, quiet down there. I can shoot it. All right, I hear you. 12
in the ball game, 10.5 for Hunter. So he and Hall, who were very quiet in the first 20 minutes, have responded for Brownell's team, who's to within 1 now. Miller trying to find a crease. Right hand shot good for Boopy Miller's second field goal.
And Boopy needs to get himself engaged more in this game. A great job of keeping him on his hip, being able to make the read, being patient, and getting into his float.
(60-57). Beadle hesitate. Runner good. Josh Beadle pulls Clemson to within 1. 9 straight field goals by the Tigers.
Guys are showing up, coming off the bench, making an impact.
Three ball good. Carr.
I like it. A little bit of back and forth right here. That's what we came to watch, right?
Yep. Under 7 to go. Hall out front. Here's Hunter. Back for PJ Hall, a 3, short. Sallis the rebound with 6.5 to go.
You got to look at it. Great cut.
Carr on the score.
You see the 2, we talked about Shefflin and Hall playing together. Look at Reed and Carr. Great feed, great cut, great find.
6-point game, timeout. Clemson. Wake's hit 7 of their last 7 from the floor. Clemson's hit 9 of their last 10. Some kind of ball game
great
on the final night of play.
Reed.
Boy, Andrew Carr, terrific night here in Winston. Here in Winston for basketball, too. Hall and the Tigers down 6.
See Gerard back in the game. Just a quick little.
Here's PJ, double team coming. Got knocked off balance. They're going to call a travel.
I don't know about that one.
So a turnover by the Tigers will be their 10th. Brad Brownell not happy.
Good job catching it. I mean, it's a foul. That's a foul right there.
Efton Reed stayed off, held off his 4th. Under 6 to go. Carr. Shefflin back on the floor too now. Remember, he plays with 3. Carr in a double team with Shefflin and Gerard. They skip it quickly for Hildreth. Hildreth into traffic, fall away, got it. 9 for Hildreth on his 4th field goal.
I mean, how about the footwork right there? Being able to get in the paint, reverse pivot, fadeaway jump shot over a 6'10" Hall. Tough shot by Hildreth.
23-10 run by Wake. They've made their last 8 shots. Gerard, Shefflin, quick entry for Hall, and there's Carr on the foul. That'll be his 3rd, 9 on Wake Forest, 1-1 for P.J. Hall.
Great job attacking the middle, pull back, get back in the paint, reverse pivot. Tough shot by Hildreth. He's bringing it on both ends of the floor tonight.
P.J. Hall, 3 for 4 at the free throw line. All here in the second half to the line now. This is a 1-1 opportunity. 4th Tiger in history. Front end good, 1,600 or more points, 600 or more rebounds, 100 or more blocks. He joins Dale Davis, Eldon Campbell, and Trevor Booker.
Well, that's some good company right there.
Yep.
All NBA guys.
Yeah. The Tower of Doom, by the way, Dale Davis and Eldon Campbell. Hall hit them both.
And I think Hall, you could add him to a future NBA guy as well.
6-point lead for Wake. Just ahead of 5 to go. Reed. Kick out Carr. Boopy Miller 3. Sure.
Hello, Boopy. Great short roll. Great job to control and kick it out to Boopy Miller, who's knocking it down. One of the craftiest guards in the ACC.
Deacons on fire. Miller adds to the fray. We're going to get a foul called on Wake Forest, who's hit its last 9 shots after the Miller triple.
But Wes, I think we knew this is how Wake had to come out and play.
Yep. Hall launches and hits. P.J. Hall now is having a heck of a second half. He's got 15 and a half and 17 in the ball game.
One thing I like about him is he is not going to shy away from a shot.
18 and a half. I'm sorry, 18 in the game, 16 and a half. Eric, excuse me. And you're right, he's not shying away at all. He deflects the entry pass and forces the turnover. 6-point game, 4.5 to go.
He has to be careful, though, picking up that 4th foul.
Shefflin, here's Hall, working on Reed in traffic. Too strong, Shefflin can't finish from the other side. Hall and Reed both go to the deck. Hildreth the other end, the easy bucket for the Deacons. 11 for Cam Hildreth.
Man, I tell you what, you told it to me today, Wes, as shooter on, you love this guy, Hildreth. I mean, he's a guy that every team could use just with his energy and effort, and he's just an improved offensive player for Wake.
15 to shoot. Here's Gerard, 3, and got it! What a shot. Gerard's got double figures.
Should have been a 4-point play.
390th three-pointer of Joe Girard's career. Cuts it to 5. 72-67. Deacons burning a little shot clock here. Carr with 11 to shoot. Entry for Reed against Hall.
You got to go at him.
Reed turns, scores.
And you know, Hall has to be careful right there with the flop. He's going to pick up his 4th. He keeps on doing that.
15 and a half for Efton Reed. Wake's hit 11 in a row. Gerard to the basket. He'll draw the foul and shoot 2. And a little bit of post-whistle skirmish, but no place for the weak inside, Aaron.
Yeah, you see right here, Reed go at his chest. At the bucket. Don't really hear me saying anything.
You see that Wake Forest has hit their last 11 shots after starting the second half, 3 for their first 10. Gerard at the line for the Tigers, first trip tonight. Joe is the best free throw shooter in the ACC.
Yeah, you see, Wake, they're just getting good shots, but it starts with that inside-out balance. I think Efton Reed did a great job of being a presence down low. You see Clemson came with the double a few times. He kicked it out for 3s, and then Carr cutting to the basket, getting good looks. It's just that Wake is doing a good job with the ball moving and getting good looks.
Little backcourt pressure offered by Clemson. Double team on Sallis. Clark was there. Tigers going to go zone here with the foul trouble now. Remember that Shefflin's off the floor. Wiggins has replaced him.
They talked about it in shoot around. They don't play a lot of zone, but in certain situations, foul trouble, and just certain times in the game they will go to it.
Less than 5% of their possessions this year have been zoned. Miller inside, Reed threw it away. Gerard, shot clock violation. Last touch, it'll be a violation. Gerard touched it. Horn went off before the ball went out of bounds. That's why it belongs to Clemson. Watch the clock run out. Shot clock goes off before it goes out of bounds. Gerard a three. Rebounded inside. Reed, who's playing on a mission tonight.
What a tough board by Reed right there. Two hands, go up and get it, big fella.
Sallis thought about the three with 2:13 to play. 5-point lead for Wake Forest.
They have to try to get into that high post area, operate out of there, the short corners in the zone.
Sallis against the zone attacks over Hall, scores.
And that's what you got to do. You got to be able to get in those gaps right there, get in the paint, and then you suck that zone in. You either got the float off 2 feet or you got that kick to the corner for the three.
10th game of 20 or more in conference play for Hunter Sallis. 7-point game. Gerard on the drive, blocked by Reed, but a foul before the rejection. The foul is on Hildreth, the junior guard, his first. A couple of free throws coming for the Tigers with 1:45 to play. And it'll be Joseph Gerard III from Glens Falls, New York.
And that's one thing about Joe we talked about earlier. I mean, he came in as a shooter, and he's still an unbelievable shooter, but he's improved his game, putting it on the deck a little bit, being able to get into the paint, create contact, and get to the free throw line.
Second for Gerard is also good. 9.5, 14 in the game.
96% from the free throw line. One of the best all time.
5-point lead for Wake. Double team. Clark forces the turnover. Saves it for Hunter. Chase to the basket. Reed slapped it off the glass. They're going to award the goaltend. Well, they want to look at it. So Roger Ayers and Tommy Morrissey.
No.
Oh, it did not get to the glass.
That's a block.
That is a block by Efton Reed, I think.
It's a block.
Now, he slaps the glass.
But that doesn't make a difference, though.
Right.
If it's a block.
Yep, that's a block. Boy, Reed has played great tonight.
And I'm just saying in the beginning, and it was a block, but they shouldn't even have got to this point. You see Hildreth trying to, break the trap, break through the double team, that pass the ball ahead.
So he blocks it off the glass. Efton Reed from Richmond, 7-foot junior transfer. Did not score in the first half, only played 8 minutes because of some early foul trouble. Here in the second half, he's got 12 points and 3 rebounds. One of the... And Tommy Morrissey and Roger Ayers giving it the once-over. And this may now have gone to a timing issue as well, Eric.
Russell, I think in the beginning we talked about the Clemson the tandem of Clemson and their 2 bigs down low. How about this Wake Forest tandem right now?
Yep.
Really outplaying.
Well, how about
the tandem of Clemson?
Marsh, Reed, and Carr have all shown up tonight for Steve Ford.
All shown up, and to be able to win games going forward, not just tonight, but in the tournament, you need everybody on that team to be ready to play and contribute, and that's what Wake Forest is doing.
So they continue to look here, and if there's a reset of the game in any respect, the alternating possession goes to Clemson, or goes to Wake Forest rather. But we'll see what Paul Zell and Roger Ayers come away with here. Again, the whistle was stopped after the block by Reed. He blocked the ball before it got to the glass. His hand then hit the glass, which might seem as incidental contact if he got to the ball before. Tommy Morrissey to tell us here what we got. He blocked it before it got to the glass. Okay. Got it. Thank you, Tommy. So, as you suspected, he blocked it before it hit the glass. So, therefore, they go back to alternating possession. They put 1:33 on the clock. That's a nice piece of officiating after stopping the game. With all the technology, Devo, get it right. Right? And they did.
Wake Forest just needs to get a good look right here.
Zone with 8 to shoot, 70 seconds to play in Winston. Miller lobbing for Reed with Wiggins. He'll fire. And the rebound, the first of the night for P.J. Hall. Here's Gerard, right corner, Clark for 3. Nope. Rebound from Miller. Clemson will have to foul here, I think. See if they can extend the game. Miller's a good free throw shooter, 83%. He's 7th best in the ACC. And now Steve Forbes takes a timeout with 48.1 to go and 21 to shoot here.
Yeah, smart by Coach Forbes. I think just to be able to get his guys set. You want to get a good play, get a good shot out of this timeout.
Let's get to our Crush Star Stories for guys who are crushing it tonight. Brought to you by Crush. Well, 2 guys that I think will be on the 5-man All-ACC first team, Eric. Hunter Sallis for Wake Forest started off with 15 in the first half. P.J. Hall has 16 in the second half for Clemson.
Well, yeah, it's been P.J. Hall's half. This half, obviously, in the first half. You got to give credit to Wake Forest, though. They did a great job of defending them and denying the ball. And then you see Hunter Sallis, 20.7 for 13, but also 7 rebounds, 4 assists. So he's doing a little bit of everything out there.
Yep, we said Hall's first rebound a moment ago. He's been at the top of the card. In fact, Steve Forbes outlined today in their workout, he didn't care who got the rebound as long as 24 didn't, right?
And you see they're doing a heck of a job of just putting bodies on him. He's been on the floor multiple times today, and like you said, Coach Forbes' game plan is working.
Yep. And the Deacons, who are trying to rekindle some postseason hopes now after losing 5 of their last 7 in 3 straight. They've got a 5-point lead with 48.1 to go, and you see our game reset. Possession belongs to Clemson. But it's a 5-point game. Now, if you're Wake Forest, do you expect Clemson to try and foul here, or do they play this sequence out because you'll have about 27 seconds left if they take it all the way down to the end of the clock?
Yeah, I think right now they're going to play it out. I think they're going to make Wake Forest shoot a tough shot and hopefully be able to get a rebound and score on the other end, and then
foul.
If they have to foul, yeah.
Reed, Miller, Sallis, Carr, and Hildreth for Wake Forest. Wiggins, Clark, Chase Hunter, Joseph Girard III, and P.J. Hall for the Clemson Tigers. Hildreth into the backcourt. Sallis with 20 to shoot.
Give it to your best player and let him make a play.
Yep. He's the game's leading scorer with 20. Here's Miller with 6 to shoot. Lob for Carr. Out of a double team and foul. I think that may be, is that Hall? That's P.J. Hall. That's his 5th. It's his 4th? It's his 4th.
Yeah, you see right here, Wiggins was just stuck on Reed, and he missed Carr in that middle, and that's what opened up that shot.
First for Carr is good. 2-possession game. This is a big free throw here, Eric. It turned into a 3-trip contest.
And these 2 teams obviously being the best free throw shooting teams in the ACC.
Carr left it on the rim. It's 2 possessions with a half minute to go.
I did it again.
Here's Hunter. Tigers can't wait. Chase trying to reroute out of the right corner. Now Hall with 19 to shoot. Hunter looking for an angle. Step back 3. Good. Timeout Brad Brownell on Chase Hunter's 3. And it's a 3-point game with 12.7 left, and Efton Reed is down below the Tiger basket.
You see right here, I thought they were taking way too much time, and Hunter did a good job of knocking it down, but it's only 12.7 seconds. They're going to have to foul right away. You go for the steal, Wes, and then if you don't get it, you foul.
Okay. But as we've noted before, these are two really good free throw shooting teams. Wake is 10 of 12 tonight. Clemson is 15 of 16. Boy, I know it's been a struggle, Eric. The last 7 games, particularly the last 3 straight for Wake Forest. They got all the look of a tournament team, don't they?
I tell you what, they have the balance, the inside, the out. They have the guard play, which we all know in the NCAA tournament, it comes down to the guard play.
Sure.
We talked to D. Nick, the assistant coach for Wake Forest, earlier in shoot-around. He just said it was just one of those funks that they got into, and tonight they're getting themselves out of it.
I'll tell you this, if they're coming out of it, they could be a handful in Washington. Now, they're going to have to play Wednesday before the quarterfinals. They're locked into either the 5 seed or the 9 seed. I think it's somewhere in that neighborhood. They could be as high as 5 or as low as 9. But the reality of it is, Wake's going to be a handful in Washington if they play like this.
If I'm any team in the ACC, I don't want to play Wake Forest right now. Just with their guard play and their balance inside, they're going to be a tough out.
You're on the committee. How many wins they need in D.C.? 2?
If they win tonight, I'd say they need 2 in D.C. Puts them at 21.
And we know how volatile the landscape is around them.
Yeah.
We're going to send you right to Charlottesville when we're done. Mike Monaco, Randolph Childress standing by. For Virginia and Georgia Tech, who won here the other night, inbounds to Sallis. And now they got a foul, and there's Hunter on the reach. Chase Hunter's third. Hunter Sallis will go to the line. He is 3 for 4 tonight.
And that's the second time I saw Notre Dame Wake. They did the same thing. It's the old, I guess, the flea flicker in basketball where you go in and do the guy gets out of bounds.
Right.
I like the creativity by Coach Forbes.
Steve Forbes will clear the lane. You see Brad Brownell out of timeouts with 10.2 left in the 3-point game. First one from Sallis is good. Terrific player for Steve Forbes. By the way, a historical player in many respects. Hunter Sallis was the first 5-star basketball recruit from the state of Nebraska.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't hear a lot of guys coming out of Nebraska.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, well, we hit it on the head.
Second one, good.
Yeah, Miller, just stay up on the ball. Don't let him roll it up.
Here goes Hunter. 5-point game. Chase goes all the way to the basket and dunks it down. Here's the inbounds to Miller with 3, 2. They're trying to get the foul. Hall will pay for it with his 5th with 2.2 left. That is 5 on P.J. Hall. And he's going to foul out of the final game of the regular season. It'll be the 5th time he's fouled out in ACC play and the 6th time overall. And he exits with 18 points tonight. And Brad Brownell with 2.2 left to go in a 3-point game. And we're going to have fouls here, or free throw shots for Wake Forest. And realistically, with 2.2 to go, the Deacons have to miss them both for Clemson to even then have a crack at a tie.
Well, what a game tonight by Coach Forbes.
Yep.
I mean, his game plan was A1. You know, denying P.J. Hall the ball, making it tough for him.
Miller's free throw seals it for the Deacs. 80-76 with 2.2 to go. Wake's going to finish 11-9 in the league, and so is Clemson. Second one good. Miller with 6. Hunter from midcourt at the horn, and Wake wins. 81-76.